Okay, guys, now PulseX could 100x, it could go to a penny faster than anybody thinks. Now, there's several reasons for this, and I'm going to explain what those are, but we're going to start with the obvious one that everybody knows about, which is the PulseX buy and burn mechanism. Now, this is an extremely powerful thing where PulseX generates transaction fees and uses a portion of those transaction fees to buy PulseX and then burn it. So it has a massive effect on price because the only thing that drives prices up in crypto is buying. So if you have a platform and protocol that automatically does the buying for you and it burns the coin, those are the ultimate diamond hands, right? You cannot sell what you don't have. If the coins are being burned, they cannot be sold. Now let me show you just how powerful this is. PulseX has existed for less than 2 weeks right now, and it has already burned 55 billion, right? Now, the total supply, as we can see, is 143 billion, but most of these are in extreme diamond hands, right? They're apparently it looks like they're owned by Richard Hart. So what is outside of his hand is about 14 trillion. So if we take this 55 billion number, which is burnt, right? That's roughly a little over 25 billion a week. Now let's take the 25 billion a week number. If we're burning 25 billion a week, in a year we've just about 52 weeks. That means in a year we could potentially burn 1.2 trillion, or it works out about 1.3 trillion, right? But those are just rough numbers. They're not accurate. If you want the accurate numbers, you can do the calculations yourself. We just wanted to simplify it here, right? So if you're burning 1.3 trillion a year, that's almost 10% of the entire supply that's being burnt in the first year. Now, obviously, as you burn more and more and more, the amount you burn reduces, right? Because the supply is reducing as well. But think about it. You've got a buyer that can buy definitely 10% of an asset and burn it a year. If we look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin has been the leader of crypto cycles. And the way cycles work is that whenever you have the Bitcoin halvening, this is extremely powerful and it causes the next bull run. It triggers the next bull run, right? That is what has happened in the markets traditionally in the crypto space. And the halvening is essentially that anyone the miners of Bitcoin, they validate transactions. So when they do that, they are rewarded in new Bitcoin. And the halvening is essentially just their Bitcoin they're rewarded with is halved to make Bitcoin more scarce. So, despite the fact that Bitcoin is actually inflationary, right? It's just reducing the pace of inflation. And that causes the entire crypto space to go through these cycles. Now, imagine you have a coin that has no inflation, that just starts off with reducing the supply over time. You're taking the tokenomics that made Bitcoin pump to insane levels and you're putting it on steroids. This is next level stuff. So, the buy and burn, I think, is the much strongest reason. Now we go to the next one. The Pulse Chain ecosystem right now is the fastest growing crypto ecosystem out there. No ecosystem is growing faster than Pulse Chain. It has existed for less than 2 weeks, but we're already flipped Avalanche, Solana, Matic in terms of transaction volume. Pulse Chain was the second in terms of transaction volume until Binance Smart Chain did some dodgy things with transactions, or some things that seem dodgy with transactions, and their transactions spiked up. But so even if we were to give it to them and say Binance Smart Chain is the second largest, we're the third largest in 2 weeks. So we're the fastest growing. If you look at the engagement on Twitter, incredible, massive engagement. We're having a lot of assets around Pulse Chain trending. We've got Pulse Chain trending, Pulse X trending. We've got incentive token trending, right? So this is the fastest growing ecosystem. And the thing is this, for Pulse Chain, we don't yet have many exchange listings. I know Pulse Chain just got listed on OKX, right? But for the Pulse Chain ecosystem, for other coins in the ecosystem, they don't have exchange listings. That means that anyone who wants to participate in this ecosystem has to use PulseX. And if everyone who comes in the ecosystem has to use PulseX, that means everyone has to contribute to the buying and burn mechanism. That means we've got massive buying, massive burning, and that also means we've got a massive chunk of people coming in the ecosystem. And if they're using PulseX, they might want to also hodl a little bit of that PulseX as well. Now we all know this, right? So when you have all of this stuff happening, it's going to cause people to buy up that coin, and it'll drive price up. And one thing about driving price up is high prices drive more high prices, right? So when people start to see the chart going straight up, more people are going to want to buy. If you've been in the crypto space for long, you've seen this several times, that if a coin is pumping, most likely that coin is going to be trending. Most likely people are going to be talking about it. Most likely new people are going to be coming to buy that coin. So we've got that. And now we've got another massive thing, right? That is the yield farming on PulseX. The yield farming is it's an opportunity for people to earn yield with their coins. Now, this is extremely, extremely, extremely powerful because for the most part, what can you do with your cryptocurrency, right? You buy it, you hodl it, you put it in cold storage, you wait 2 years, right? That's the game plan that most of us have, right? You wait 2 years, sometimes wait 4 years, depending on where you get in the cycle. But now Pulse X changes the game because now there's opportunities to earn yield. Now, this is extremely powerful because if you have your coins, now you can earn more coins on it. Now, the yield farms, in my view, are still very young. They're still growing. They've got massive potential to become even bigger than they are right now. So I think that you're going to have much, much more yield farming on Pulse Chain, much, much more ways to generate yield. And right now, it's not completely open. I think it's going to be completely open so that other people, because right now you can earn incentive token, but I think it's on specific payers. And for the most part, I think different teams cannot create their own incentive tokens. But when that happens, when it evolves over some time, maybe a few weeks or so, I think you'll have much, much, much more utility for Pulse X. You'll have much more things to do there. I think it will be a richer experience. Right now, it's a rich experience, but it'll be even a richer experience. Now, think about that. That's more transactions, more buy and burn mechanism being triggered. So you see, it starts to look like 100x, that one penny mark is not so hard after all. You have all these factors coming in together. Now, the largest thing as well that we have is we've got a diehard committed community, right? The Pulse X community, obviously, is part of the Pulse Chain community and Hexicans as well. But it's an extremely powerful community, extremely strong community. Now, even before the whole Pulse Chain what was happening, the Hex community was still massive and strong. But now that community has, in size, grown significantly. So that means if you look at what the community did when it had lesser people, right? We had the Hex community, right? We had several marketing initiatives, right? Taxis branded with Hex logo, people receiving letters in the mail for promoting Hex. We had NASCAR sponsorship. We had a soccer team sponsorship. Now, those who don't know, it didn't end so well. But the community has been driving, pushing, marketing, pushing the message for a long time. Now think about it that now the community is over 10x larger. I think we're more than 10x larger than we were like a year ago or 2 years ago. Much, much more. Now I've said this before. I looked at I looked at these numbers every day. Hex never traded over 10,000 tweets in 24 hours, and right now we're talking about I think an all-time high of 4 million tweets. Right, so the size of the growth that this has experienced, the size of the community now is huge. So for those reasons, I think that if we're talking 100x, if we're talking about retire on Pulse, I think that there's massive potential that this could happen a lot sooner than most people anticipate. Now, obviously, we'll wait and see what happens as all of this stuff unfolds, right? But I think that huge opportunity on Pulse on Pulse X, and I also think that the tokens launching on Pulse Chain will benefit from this action as well. Because when the massive money comes, it comes starts off with those assets first, and then when those assets pump hard, it spills over to other assets that are within the ecosystem, especially Pulse Chain native projects. I think that they will do extraordinarily well. That have good fundamentals, obviously, and with everything, there's some risk. But I think Pulse X, 100x, in my view, is almost guaranteed, right? Obviously, nothing is guaranteed in crypto. There's risk and all that stuff. But I think it's as good as can be. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. And let's all learn from each other. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.